Hey guys, my name is Chad at All Dogs Off-Road, and today we're gonna do a little bit of the opposite of what most Nissan Frontier or Xterra owners do. We're going to be removing the Titan swap from my truck and going to a 2-inch Koni lift kit. And there are a number of reasons for doing that. My truck is running the first Titan swap for a 3rd gen Frontier, and I've had it for about almost a year and a half now, and about 20,000 miles. Now, this truck is going to be going through some Hey guys, this is Chad at All Dogs Off-Road. We're going to be doing an intro outside right now before we go in and start this project. Kyle's running the press right now and is kicking on the air compressor, so it like drowns out all of the audio. But today we're going to be working on my 22 Frontier, and we're going to be doing what a number of people would consider to be sacrilegious. We're going to be removing a Titan swap from a vehicle and going to a 2-inch lift kit. My truck is going to be, over the next few weeks, going through some significant changes, the first of which is going to be the suspension. Now, Titan swaps are probably one of the higher tiers that you can do for off-road performance and that sort of thing. But when you're building your suspension, you really need to be pragmatic with your needs and kind of be honest with those needs. Now, I don't need 3.5 to 4 inches of lift for the vast majority of the things that I do. My truck is my daily driver, it's my weekend off-roader, and it's going to be a long-range highway driver and overland vehicle. Now, with a Titan swap, you're going to be, sitting quite a bit taller, and that's going to add, that's going to increase your center of gravity, and, depending on your spring choices, can make you a little tippy. And my truck is going to be adding a significant amount of weight to the back from where it is right now, and you guys will probably see that in a future video. But aside from the weight that I'm going to be adding, which would increase center of gravity, my dog Huckleberry just turned 11 earlier this week, and I want to make his, getting up into the truck easier for him. And also, I'm getting old too, so it would be easier to get into a 2-inch lifted truck than it is a 4-inch truck. So when this truck was first purchased, I was running, like within a week, we took the Bilstein 4600s off and put the Koni lift kit, the Koni 82 series kit on it. I was very happy with that setup. It was about as perfect as a setup as I could have asked for what I do. And so now that the Titan swap R&D work is done, and I've put 20,000 miles on it, and have had it on the truck for about a year and a half, it's proven, it's solid. I can remove the prototype suspension and go back to the 2-inch kit, which really serves my needs better. And like I said, I'll be adding a lot more weight in the near future, and we'll do a separate video on that, and I'm excited for you guys to see it. So what we've got laid out here are just about all the parts that we're going to need to go from the Titan swap to back to the stock suspension. We've got lower control arms, we've got our upper control arms, we've got CVs, front and rear sway bars, factory shackles. We've got the Koni shocks laid out that we're going to use, and our coil springs. Now, all we're going to have to do is get this on the lift and just start pulling it apart. So the majority of the work that we're going to be doing is going to be spent on the front of the suspension, because that's just a bit more involved. Changing out control arms, swapping out CVs, and that sort of thing. The rear is already pretty close to set up. all I have to do is pop the shackles out and change out the shocks, because I'm not changing my leaf springs. I'm running our parabolic springs, which are really, for what I'm set at right now, I'm just under the threshold for their optimal ride quality. So I'm probably about 180 pounds right now with this Roof Nest Condor Overland rooftop tent. But when I change this setup out, I'm going to be closer to 300 pounds. So really, that's going to be spot on perfect. So we'll go and start pulling wheels off and start wrenching. One final thing that I forgot to mention when we were shooting the intro video is another reason that I need to remove the Titan swap is I'm currently running our prototype upper control arms for Titan swaps and for the Titan and the 2nd Gen Armada. These need to be taken off so that some precise measurements can be taken before we go to production. So there are 3 total reasons why I have to take this off, but this is probably the most urgent, because we want to get these going and ready for you guys this summer. So, okay.
Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in the cage, I'ma let out the wake up, get out the sheets. We came from home, now to get that peace. We take the west side, take out the east. I'ma put them in the cage, never let out the I don't chat with the boys, man so tough, but man's keep rocking. Just chat with the boys, white girls gotta tell me I'm awesome, yeah.
So removing a Titan swap is going to be about exactly the same thing as installing a Titan swap. You're going to need the same tools, so a lot of 19 mils, a lot of 21 mils, 14 mil, and you just kind of work the reverse of the process. So we'll disconnect our upper lower control arms, pull the coilovers. I never ran extended brake lines. I just cut my brake line bracket and gave myself slack, because I never planned on running the Titan swap this long. I only really meant to run it for a few months, but kind of fell in love with it and decided to keep it. Everything, this will go back into its original location with a clip, and that's it. And the inner tie rods, that'll probably be a little bit of a pain in the butt, but shouldn't be terrible with some heat. So when we first did this Titan swap, Nissan had made some changes to the inner and the outer tie rods in the thread pitch and diameter, and our first attempt at Titan swapping this truck failed because nobody had done this yet, and the information wasn't documented. So eventually we had our own tie rod extensions manufactured here in Lincoln for Titan swapping the 2020 plus trucks, because 2020 model year is when they started the change. But we did a lot of cross-referencing and trial and error when we found a longer inner tie rod that worked, but as you can see, it's not really as beefy even as the factory Frontier tie rod is. So this was kind of like a little bit of a risk to run, but for purposes of getting the R&D together and getting the documentation, it was worth it. And these have surprisingly held up really well for me. They don't appear to be, this one at least doesn't appear to be bent or damaged, and it's still very tight at the socket. Now you don't have to do jank stuff like this anymore because we've got tie rod extensions for the 2020 Plus. So you would just run this with your factory inner tie rod. But served its purpose, and we'll put the factory inner and outer on, and then we'll move to the coilover and control arms.
I hear him chat with the boys, man so tough, but man's keep rocking. Just too sharp with the prize, white girls let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan, if you wanna touch man, please use caution. Stop that.
So we loosely have the driver's side all done. We'll still have to put the coilovers in and then torque everything, but we're going to move over to the driver's side and start, or I'm sorry, the passenger side, and start working on that before we start throwing coilovers and the sway bar back on. And it is hot as balls here in the shop. The summers are pretty miserable. This turns into like a massive easy bake oven.
I just need a reason. I just need to know what's on your mind. Tell me what you're needing. You can call my name, I'll be around.
So we got our front end just about to where we're ready to put assembled coilovers in it, and I'm about to start prepping the coilovers. Now, most of your aftermarket top hat kits are going to come kind of separated like this. And you've got a big rubber isolator with an integrated bushing, and then you have your 3 top hat nuts here, and then typically you have a metal sleeve, an upper bushing, and then an upper washer. So when you're prepping for assembly, just get everything together. So isolator, top hat, sleeve, bushing, washer, and that's your top. And a lot of people will forget this, but you need a lower washer. Otherwise, your shock shaft is just going to punch through the bushing here. So always make sure you've got a lower washer, and just think like you're building an ice cream sandwich or something. You got your lower washer, rubber isolator, metal top hat, rubber isolator, sleeve, upper washer, and that's your full assembly right there. So I'm going to put the top hat in place, compress the coil, and then tighten everything together.
I just need a reason. I just need to know what's on your mind. Tell me what you needin'. You can call my name, I'll be around. The sky's falling. Keep you safe and sound. The sky's falling. That will keep you safe and sound. The sky's falling.
So the front is just about all done. Everything is installed, and everything that can be torqued to spec right now is we can't torque the lower control arm and upper control arm bolts until the weight of the vehicle, when the vehicle's on the ground and has its full weight, because we're going to have to set the rubber bushings, and you do that at ride height rather than fully drooped out. So we're going to start working on the rear. I have to pull the wheel spacers off of the rear wheels that are used to kind of give you like a more symmetrical track width. So we're going to take the wheels off, take the wheel spacers off, take the shocks off, put the new shocks on, and then change out the rear shackles, and then finally put the rear sway bar on. This should be a much quicker and easier process than the front, so we'll get her done here pretty quick.
One's around. We're sitting in that car. Silence is so loud. I don't know where the hell we ended up, but all I know is that it feels like we're stuck. We're not going anywhere. I swear it feels like we haven't moved. We're not
So that in a nutshell is a Titan swap reversal back to a stock style Nissan Frontier suspension. I'm sweaty and gross right now. It's like 94 degrees in the shop, so it's basically like a sauna. But that's really one of the nice things about being in the Nissan ecosystem is you can, Titan swap and then take the Titan swap off if you want to, and you're not cutting, welding, making any permanent modifications. For the way that my build is progressing, I think I mentioned this before, is it going to a stock style like 2-inch suspension makes the most sense. And right now I do have a bit of rake. I think I'm about 1.5 inches to 1.75 inches, but I'm adding about 200 pounds over where I am right now, so that should bring the back down maybe a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch, and then the truck should be sitting just right. So overall, really happy with it. I'm actually, oddly enough, very excited to be back to a 2-inch kit. Titan swaps, they're all out awesome and that sort of thing, but I'm more of an understated person by style, and 2 inches is really about all I need. So if you're not already, like and subscribe. I'm excited. Probably in the next 3 or 4 weeks you'll get to see some more progression for the build on the 22 Frontier. One part that'll be a surprise there, and we will be, well, at least I'll be at Overland Expo PNW in Redmond, Oregon, July 7th, 8th, and 9th. So in about 4 weeks, I'll be out in the Pacific Northwest for the first time in my life and in Huckleberry's life, so we're both really excited. And that's it. Ciao!
I don't